There's too many of these. How am I ever gonna finish all of these? There's more on the way. I haven't hardly touched any of these.
Maybe I can help.
Wait, no.
You can call me the Backlogger, and I'm here to show you that you can finish all of these games.
I thought we talked about this and we weren't gonna do this stupid bit.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
This is a terrible bit. You look ridiculous. And this is the first video. Do you really want this thing to fail before we even start?
What do you want me to do? Stare straight at the viewer and give some boring explanation about the show? About how my name is Robert Wood, aka No Prob Rob, and while a bunch of gamers are out there beating games left to right, some of us struggle to finish the games that we already have? About how I've set out to change my ways and show others that they can do it too?
I mean, you just did that.
Curse you. I'll play.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Backlogged, the show where I finish games that I've picked up, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and determine what is worth playing. I know there are many gamers out there bemoaning their backlog, the wealth of games that we long to play someday. YouTube is brimming with advice on how to manage your backlog, but as someone who has games from nearly every console generation unbeaten or unplayed, I want to show my fellow distracted gamers that you can, in fact, chip away at the massive library you long to play. And who knows, maybe I'll even find a surprise or two along the way, a diamond in the rough. So where do I start? Well, in my case, I picked something that's familiar and short, something I know I can enjoy, because I've played through a good portion of it before, and just never finished it. We begin this journey with an indie darling known as Undertale. Let's begin. So, like I said, I have played through a good chunk of Undertale before. I picked it up on PC in late 2015, shortly after it was released, and I found it fascinating. It was the first game where I was aware of the massive fan following behind it. I'd heard the various music covers, seen fan art, fan fiction, memes. Basically, if it was on the internet, I probably saw it once. The fact that it was a game made largely by a single person on top of all that was beyond impressive to me. Even the greatest visionaries in the industry usually have to have a production team to help them bring their vision to life, but Toby Fox did nearly all of it on his own. He's like the Da Vinci of our time, but he put all his work in a video game. Right off the bat, the graphics are a clear callback to 16-bit RPGs, feeling the most like Earthbound for the SNES. Not necessarily the most compelling art style, but each monster in the underground has more personality than a killer anime cast. This is because of designs that are not too crazy, but just unique enough to be memorable, but even more so, because of the unique dialogue and animations. Toriel says more with a single glare than Kingdom Hearts does in an hour worth of cutscenes. No corners were cut with dialogue either, as even with only text, I could swear I can hear the characters' voices in my head. The variety of fonts help, but each character also has certain tics that make the dialogue feel genuine, like Papyrus's laugh making him feel like someone who is so uncool, but thinks he's cool, and that actually makes him pretty cool. He's such a lovable goofball idiot, and I want to be annoyed by his antics, but I just can't help loving him. If I keep going about other characters, this video will go for an hour, but I will say, the only thing I'm not too crazy about visually speaking are the locations and backgrounds. They look very, very plain, and I couldn't provide a detail that sticks out to me. Maybe the characters were just so good that I never really saw the background? Hard to say, but honestly, everything is underground, which is usually a theme for a single level, not a whole game. At any rate, forgettable backgrounds are a small price to pay for so wonderful a cast of monsters. And sweet crap, the music is the pinnacle of awesomeness for video game music. Every tune is perfect, it encompasses the exact feeling of the moment and crystallizes it into perfection. Once you hear these tunes, you will never, ever forget them. Chances are, you'll forget where they came from, as they sound so good, you'll think they came from something much more popular. Undertale has songs to make you laugh, songs to make you feel like a hero, songs to rock out to, and even the title song incorporates the main theme with Asriel's theme in such an epic way that I'm kinda choked up as I'm writing this just thinking about it. Undertale's soundtrack will forever be part of my Spotify playlist, and it should be in your playlist too. So the gameplay is unique. It can be and is often compared to something like Mario's RPG games, with a simple turn-based command system and some more direct control over attacking and dodging. But this time, there are two awesome twists. One, anytime you are attacked by a monster, you enter a bullet hell style dodging minigame to reduce or avoid any damage. Two, literally no one has to die. Sure, you can play this like every other game ever, killing everything you see, but you don't have to. As a matter of fact, hold on. Yeah? Okay, got it. So, I've just been informed by the producer I don't have that I'm about to spoil what comes later in the video, so I have to stop here for now. At any rate, the gameplay is simple and enjoyable, and I should have no trouble playing to the end. So your early tutorials here emphasize your ability to talk your way out of battling enemies pacifist style. While combat is fun enough, I learned immediately that not fighting is way more fun actually. Each character, great and small, is packed with personality that I can really only compare to Pokemon. Pokemon somehow makes each little pocket monster feel unique and special, like there's one for everybody. And Undertale pulled this off as well. In lieu of repeating myself about the great characters, the point here is that they make you not want to fight them at all, which is great, because you can totally do that. So most of us playing this game are most likely familiar with RPGs. Beat up monsters, earn experience, level up, get stronger, that's just how it's done. Because of that, everyone is likely to get a slightly different version of the neutral ending on your first time through, killing monsters because you think you have to, or just not wanting to figure out the puzzle and how to spare them. You have to get a neutral ending of some sort on the first run, and will definitely have to fight this atrocity, Photoshop Flowey. It's a wild fight that you really can't lose, as when you inevitably die, Flowey will reload the game and kill you over and over again, because this game acknowledges itself as a game and has mechanics that riff off video game tropes. I even had a couple instances where the game knew I did something before and just skipped it the second time through, which, in my case, meant I had to replay the whole game just for this clip you see here of Photoshop Flowey. Not too fun for me, but that's the game. I needed the clip. Yay. Once you finish a neutral run, Flowey will pop up and make suggestions for how to get to the best ending. If you did kill someone and save after it, this means you have to redo it without killing anyone at all for the pacifist ending, but just not killing isn't actually enough. You also have to get through the True Lab, which requires a few steps, easy enough to learn from Flowey or look it up if you're trying to get that best ending. This ending does feel really good for a bunch of reasons, but I really appreciate the way it forces you to get to know the characters. Sure, most of these guys are not folks I'd want to hang out with a lot, but I'm glad to have met them. A few I would genuinely want to be proper besties with, but even if I didn't like them all that way, it was worth getting to know what makes them tick, rather than just making them my experience fodder. So look, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have to say, being forced to do a neutral/pacifist run again kinda ruined the game a bit. This is a game about experiences, finding new surprises and hidden secrets. However, I'm trying to finish this game so I can move on to the rest of my catalog, which meant I was breezing through the second playthrough, paying no real attention to any dialogue or battles, and that wasn't fun. The novelty had worn off, and it really sucks, because the game is so magical. It's like going back to watch a movie or show you loved as a kid. It's not necessarily that the show was bad, but any flaws it had stick out way more than they used to. What a shame. Finally, I made it to the genocide run. Like I said earlier, this game is riffing off ideas from RPGs long past. Playing Undertale in the same fashion, specifically by killing everything for money and levels, is not fun. It's kinda brilliant in how it makes you think about how you play games in general, way more deeply than you ever would otherwise, but it does this by ruining the game. You have to kill everything till the battle text says, "but nobody came." Haunting, yes, but the music also gets slowed and distorted until it's just completely messed up. Eventually, the characters start talking to you as if you're the real monster, frankly, because you are. There are several points where your character just ignores everything going on because they just want to kill. It makes you feel like a serial killer, because in the game, you are. Most of the fights aren't even any fun. You one-shot even some of the bosses, and the hard boss fights that are there are generally too hard to be enjoyable. Now, bear with me here as I'm now going off script, which I do try to avoid, but I really should talk about Sans. Sans is one of the hardest fights I've ever experienced. Thankfully, I was able to get past him in about 15 tries or so, maybe an hour and a half of total gameplay, but I can't say that it was worth it. It's stupid hard. It's so hard that once I did get through it, I couldn't even celebrate. I literally was just hyperventilating at the end of it. Like, I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel success necessarily. I guess I did, but really I just felt empty. And that's really what the genocide experience boils down to. Is it a really cool idea to turn our conceptions about how to play an RPG on its head? Absolutely. Is it fun to play this way? No. That's the whole point. It's not fun killing everything, because it's not supposed to be. Undertale marked a turning point for indie games. There had been plenty of indie games getting meta, playing with the very idea of what video games are even before Undertale. But there were only a few indie games before Undertale that were so popular that even less adventurous gamers knew about them. Sans even got a freaking Mii outfit in Smash, and you know you've made it when you're in Smash. After Undertale, indie games started to be regarded as some of the most unique and engaging games on the market. A place to find something fresh after you've worn yourself out on AAA open-world action RPGs. Not necessarily better or worse, but different. And for all that, Undertale deserves to be applauded. Toby Fox deserves to be applauded. But again, this is a game about experiences. As long as you want, you can spend a ton of time in this world having all kinds of hilarious interactions with the monsters and probing the game's mysteries. Is the game fun? Yeah, and I would say the gameplay is fun too. But that fun doesn't last forever as much as I wish it did. Really, having to do the pacifist run twice just wasn't worth it. I already knew about most of the surprises and jokes, and I wasn't able to keep my attention. I just blasted through as fast as I could so I could be done, and I hate that I had to do that. But for the purpose of these reviews, I want to make sure I'm getting my fill of everything a game has to offer, so I can truly determine what is worth it. So, I did the Pacifist run, and Genocide run, and I feel pretty safe saying just one pacifist run is gonna be plenty for most of you.
Well, I'd say that sums things up pretty well. Oh jeez, I'm sorry, just hold on, I can't take it anymore, just one second. Much better. So I really hope you enjoyed this first episode of Backlogged. Stupid as I probably am for trying to do everything on my own, I am pretty happy with the work I've been doing here. I do know that it may sound like I didn't really enjoy Undertale. That is not the case. Undertale is fantastic and I loved it. It's just when you need footage for a video like this here, sometimes you have to do things to get what you need, and it just, in this case, it kind of ruined the game for me. That's all. But as I said in the intro, I struggle to finish the games I buy, and I know I'm not the only one. So if you don't already own these games, my goal here is not necessarily to sell you on them, but if that's what happens, cool. This show is about what you should be doing with the games you already have. Because of that, my rating system is a bit more categorical and may not be limited to one rating. For example, my favorite games will likely get 3 of my ratings, specifically Keep It, Finish It, Play It, which means that you should come back for more from time to time because it's just that good. Digital games will be rated slightly differently since you have to keep it, no matter what. And I will use whichever category seems the best fit. Since only about 10 people have the physical copy of Undertale, I would say that this is part of your digital game backlog, and you should finish it, specifically just the pacifist run. Enjoy it, remember it fondly, but move on. Do not do the genocide run, and do not stay too long. Just finish it. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to walking alongside you as we finish our video game backlogs. If you want to see what's coming up in the future on the show, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. That would be fantastic, and ring the bell so you get those videos when they're up, because it's just me. It's going to be a little while. But I'll see you next time. Have fun working through those backlogs, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I present straight from Undertale, Dog Song by Toby Fox. Enjoy.